My name is Claire Dansich, this year's senior class president. I'd now like to introduce our principal, Mr. Ted Fuller, to the stand.
Thank you. Good morning. At this time, we ask you to stand as we pay honor to America with the playing of our national anthem by the Sentinel High School Symphony Band under the direction of Mr. Gary Gillette. Again, good morning, everyone. As Claire said, I'm Ted Fuller, and it is my privilege to serve as the Sentinel principal, which means not only do I have the very best job in the world, but I get to send off our outstanding class of 2016. Yeah! I'd like to begin by introducing our distinguished guests here on the stage. First, Missoula County Public School Board Trustee and Board Chair Marcia Holland. Vice Chair, Trustee Ann Wake. Vice Chair Diane Lorenzen. Trustee Vicki McDonald. Trustee Corbin Bragstad. And Trustee Michael Beers. I'd also like to introduce the Superintendent of Missoula County Public Schools, Mr. Mark Thane. Executive Director of Region 1, Mr. Trevor Levosky. Sentinel High School Assistant Principal, Ms. Margot Dunneman. The Sentinel High School Senior Counselor, Ms. Katie Kurgan. And our commencement speaker, Sentinel High School Social Studies Instructor, Mr. Ray Curtis. I'd like you to join me in acknowledging and thanking the absolute finest faculty and staff of any high school anywhere. Sitting behind our graduates, please express your gratitude to those who helped get them here, the Sentinel High School faculty and staff. I also need to acknowledge and thank three ladies responsible for getting this organized today. Sitting over here, Ms. Paula Seaholm, Jan Wingo, and Andrea Schluter. Their efforts were extraordinary. The class of 2016, you are poised to make our world a better place. Never forget that. Never forget that you are the creative and intellectual engine of the future, and you have, as I have told you, the responsibility to go out and do good things, to be kind and compassionate, to ask of your world, how can I help? I personally owe you a debt of gratitude as you've helped me to become a better principal, so I thank you. I've been thinking for weeks about what I could say to you today that would have an impact, make a difference, and send you off into adulthood, ready to face the challenges life undoubtedly will throw at you. And then boom, it came from the most unexpected place. I have a 2.5-year-old daughter. She's going to preschool a few half days a week in the fall, And last week she took a little test drive and spent 2 hours at her school on her own. Before she left, her mom reminded her of 3 things, and it occurred to me, those 3 things were not only perfect for a little girl starting preschool, but for all of you as well. It's the circle of life, right? The first, remember to use your manners. Say please, say thank you, hold the door, be kind, be respectful, use your manners. The second one, be a good listener. We could all afford to be better listeners. The world you're about to embark into is filled with magic and wonder, and you just might miss it if you don't listen carefully. And the last one, if you have to go potty, find a grown-up. Now, not directly applicable to you today, however translated, don't be afraid to ask for help. If you need help, find someone who cares, find someone you trust, find a mentor, and ask for help. And always know, those of us who leave behind at Sentinel High School are always here to lend a hand and always here to help, so come back and see us. So thank you, class of 2016. I know I speak for the whole Spartan family when I say we love you, we will miss you, and we will be watching you as you chase your dreams into your future. Thank you. The Sentinel Miss Choir seniors, under the direction of Miss Jessica Tidwell, will perform Flashlight. And audience, if you're in the mood, our choir invites you to use your cell phone to shine a light on all of our seniors. Thank you to our choir, that was fantastic. At Sentinel High School, we have what I think is a very special tradition, and that is that the senior class selects their commencement speaker by popular vote, and it is always a member or recently retired member of the Sentinel faculty. And this year's selection was by an absolute landslide. This individual, who will himself graduate with the class of 2016, has taught these students the intricacies of the American governmental system, as well as what it means to be strong and have grit and persevere and to love and to be ever positive in the face of life's best and worst times. Please join me in welcoming the 2016 commencement speaker, Mr. Ray Curtis.
It is absolutely grand to be up early with you. I do think everyone would agree. It's probably more so for me than for you. I suppose for you, it feels somewhat like another school day. It's early. You have a teacher up here lecturing you. There's a seating chart, and only when I am finished, you may get your way. You get on your way. I don't have a test at the end, though, but I promise you, you will be tested. So, with that, I'll get on with it. First, I must say, the invitation to address you this morning is an honor that I could not pass up. I made it a priority to get here today. My daughter, Janie, and I just returned home yesterday afternoon after a month away, and as soon as the ceremony is over, we will jump in the car and attend another event that is another priority. But more about that and priorities later. Since my wife, you're probably used to me calling her Mrs. Curtis, since Mrs. Curtis's death last December, an event that heaped much sorrow upon all of us, I imagine some people assume that it might be hard for me to be at Sentinel High School, and even here with you today, without her. We were, as you observed, inseparable. I want people to know the exact opposite is true. I have wonderful memories from Sentinel High School. Memories I never want to lose. Memories that I embrace. Sentinel has been good to me. Over the last 30 years, people who were my students, my teachers, my friends, my colleagues, my staff, they became my friends. They inspired me. People like Mrs. Scott and Mrs. York, Miss Bitney, Glenn Governson, Hal Stearns, the list is really too long for me. People in the district have been great, and I want to thank you all. I hope that you, seniors, have similar feelings about Sentinel. In fact, I could stick around for several more years at Sentinel, which is not an option for you. That would be the safe thing for all of us to do, but I feel like I have some other things that are calling me. Therefore, you may have heard, well, as you just heard, I am going to retire. Sometimes we have to do things that take us on uncertain tasks. Now, that might sound like Janie and I driving around northern England trying to find Hadrian's Wall, but that's not what I mean. We took a few wrong turns. I'm talking about what you are doing today. I'm talking about what I am setting out to do. Each one of us in this room cannot afford to stand still. We have to move on. For you and I, this is our commencement. I really wanted to use that word here, commencement. So, please give me a moment. There. I'm ready to graduate with you, class of 2016. Now, this may be the last time This may be the last time I teach. I am nervous, can you tell? I just screwed up right there. That is strange, because I got used to doing this for 50 classes, 5 times a day for the last 30 years. But in high school, I was one of those that said nothing unless someone, like Mrs. York, would not stand for that. Those of you who knew my wife know that she would have been so much better at this. She was eloquent, she was classy, perceptive, and oh so articulate. Mrs. Curtis taught speech here at the university as a TA. She never would have agreed to do this, though. She was much too humble. And you will see that for her and us, the timing was never good. The timing, as I told you earlier, is not great for me, but I've learned many lessons over the years, many of them recently, as cancer took my wife, and I wish to share with you some of those. With that, I can hear my wife saying, "Get on with it, Ray." That's not much of an introduction. Tell them what you want to tell them and then do it. So, for both you and her, I will do that. Now, those of you who have been in one of my classes know that I make a list on the board of what I want to get through during class. You also know that I rarely get through that list. You have to come to the next class to finish where we started. But then there is a new list that we fail to get through. You get the idea. I figured out that won't be an option today. Therefore, I have just one topic. I want to address planning. I have a few stories about planning. Specifically, I mean prioritizing, learning, adjusting, and doing it all with grace and gratitude. President Eisenhower was fond of saying something that would be a good introductory sentence. He said, "Plans are worthless. Planning is everything." I'm going to start my comments about planning by talking about prioritizing what you want to do. I'm going to paraphrase Ike, who maintained, if you haven't been planning, you can't start to live, intelligently at least. Here, I will confess that my wife and I rarely went to graduation. It's not that we didn't care or were antisocial. It was that graduation always was on her birthday weekend. Her birthday is June 1st, and I always wanted to do something special for her. That was a priority for me. You cannot do everything you want, nor even everything you think you need to do. In my case, there are graduation parties I want to attend, but I have a 60th wedding anniversary party that I must throw for Nancy's parents this afternoon. They are lovely people, and because she is an only child, that task falls to me. I am both happy and determined to look after them. So, perhaps I should have said no when I was invited to speak today, but this is something that I truly wanted to do. I wanted to see each of you cross the stage, and I think I'm in line so I can fist bump each one of you. Some of you also know that normally when I teach, I expect you to get out your notes, because, as many of you know, the palest stink is, anybody finish that for me? It's better than the best memory. Today is different though. Notes are not a priority. Heck, let's be honest. This speech is not what is most on your mind. You won't remember what I say. I hope you remember how my wife and I live. And let me also note that this is being filmed by so many today. I hope Garrett's out there getting it because I want to see it this afternoon. I have to take a tangent here. As I said, today is different. But please, don't live your life videotaping everything or taking 200 pictures of one single moment. Experience things. I saw people videotaping Monet's gardens as they walked through. I don't think they experienced it. I can't believe that video will be enough to help them take in the movie. Maybe I'm jealous though. I have just 3 photographs from my high school graduation. I think that's 2 more than my brother Rick got. Anyone here with just a handful? I bet there are. When I graduated, selfies wasn't a word in the dictionary. Make it a priority rather than taking selfies to live well and experience things. To do that, you need to take some chances. You need to go out on a limb, risk looking silly and perhaps failing. These are not the worst things you can do. The worst thing you can do is to do none of those things I just listed. Recently, I read a story which said elderly folks reported that more often than not, they regretted what they didn't do rather than what they did. I have a story I like telling. 25 years ago this week, I got up the nerve on the last day of school of the school year for teachers to ask this really cute Spanish teacher down the hall, who was really out of my league, if she would go out to lunch. If I didn't ask, then she was going to Spain for the summer and maybe away forever. Who knows? I was going another direction. First, on a long weekend trip down to Missouri with Professor Fritz, then a week as a counselor at Boys State, and finally, the rest of the summer doing a stint as Uncle Nature at Camp Watanopa. I knew that I couldn't ask her if she was walking away. I love that Zach Brown song. Anyway, she said yes. We spent the summer sending these things called letters back and forth across the Atlantic. On the day she returned, I asked her to marry me. This time, she said yes, yes, yes. We planned a Christmas wedding, but on the first day of school, we went to Justice Morris's office and became Mr. and Mrs. Burns. We did get married at Christmas time, 2 anniversaries every year. That came in handy because we set as a goal for ourselves to celebrate 67 of them. I had a great aunt and uncle, Myrtle and Ernie, who the 2 of us visited regularly. And this tie that I'm wearing was Ernie's, and it's just about the only one I'll ever wear. Those 2 were married for 67 years. We had no clue back then that Nance would get smacked by a surgical technique that targets 1 out of every 350 women who have it done, and then spreads a nasty form of cancer that is devastating. Our old plans became worthless. We needed new ones. Plans that took into account that after 5 years, only 5% of women afflicted were still alive. We started to live every day as best we could. I think we always tried, but now there was no choice. For the first time, we understood what people meant when they spoke of aiming for quality of life rather than quantity of years. I always tried to live by the motto, never put off until tomorrow what you can do today. I always thought that referred to work, but I'm convinced now that it is not exclusive. Plan to play as well. You have to do both. Or, guess what? You will regret it. And you can't sit around and wait like Dr. Seuss warns and know the places you will go. Few of you probably have a copy of that. But if you don't, take some of your graduation money and get one. Don't wait around. Nance and I didn't get in our 67 years, but we had 48 anniversaries. If I hadn't asked her to lunch 25 years ago, I would not have had those great years. Indeed, my heart hurts badly right now, but I believe the regret would have hurt more. Some of you may be thinking that she could just as easily have said no, that maybe she should have. I had never thought myself. It was a possibility, but the shot was worth it. You know, Michael Jordan said you miss 100% of the shots you never take. And he had another thing he used to say, which is appropriate, but all the shots he did take, and then he missed, which is why, he says, he succeeded. I'm also reminded today of Randy Pausch, another teacher, hit with cancer at too young of an age. In his last lecture, as he knew he would die, he implored people to actively seek what they want. He maintained that you can't expect things to come to you, and you have to be ready and willing to snatch opportunity when it comes knocking. You cannot imagine all the possibilities before you. 38 years ago, I was where you are. Well, sort of. We were back at Sentinel High School in the hot and sweaty gym because there were over 600 of us getting a diploma. One of these that you'll get soon. I just need to finish up for you, don't I? But before we do, I want you to imagine which one of you might be in the same position 38 years from now. Back then, no one would have said it would be that Curtis kid. I was pretty reserved at school. The middle of my junior year, I went from being a big fish in a small pond at Park County High School to a small fish at Sentinel. And after graduation, I was pretty sure that I'd do what many in my family did. I'd work for Burlington Northern Railroad and make a nice living. No one in my family had ever graduated from college. Although, I was thinking that being an architect would be cool. But a twisted path brought me here. Out of nowhere, I got a Hayes-worthy scholarship to go to the U. I took classes from inspiring teachers, and boom, there I was. I was a teacher too. Each one of you took a unique, twisting path to get here today, and you will take a different path once you leave here today. You will share this journey with others, but it will always be just your journey. We are going into the unknown, but we'll go into the unknown together. Like you, I don't know what's next. Whatever you do, part of your plan must be to do it with both grace and gratitude. That is not optional. Mrs. Curtis showed us. It's what makes her a really great teacher. When faced with cancer and death, which no one wants, she showed us how to live. Even when she was so tired and battered, she was listening. She was listening in this book. All the people and things she was grateful for. Many of your names are in here. She was writing thank you notes, and many of you have one, or maybe several. When things go bad, the best thing you can do is be graceful and grateful. This gives me an opportunity to thank you for your support. You, the class of 2016. You were cheering us on during lunch walks. Your waves, shouts, and smiles encouraged us. You did something, and we so needed your encouragement. Thank you. Share this day with them. I saw them cheering you as you walked in. They are as excited as you. But this is bittersweet for them, as I know it is for many of you. We love seeing you do new things. We love seeing you grow up. But we hate seeing you grow up. On the one hand, we can't wait to see what you'll do next, but we long to remember what you once did. Need proof? Look at all the cameras right now. I have proof. My mom kept this for me for all my school years. And you should see my daughter's collection. We have at home a library devoted to her works from kindergarten to this day. Honestly, we have preschool stuff too. And I don't think I'm the only parent who has such a collection. Be also grateful for what you have rather than envious for what you don't. An experience that my wife and I had in Sevilla, Spain taught us this. One night we were looking for paella. The only shop was one that the tourists went to. It was good, but not great. A year later, though, we read an article about it that said if you want to get great paella in Spain, in Sevilla, go to this joint. With that, we learned that the best place is the place you are. Time and time on our trip, JD and I felt so fortunate for what we got rather than for what we had planned to do. I can tell you the best ferry ride in Scotland if you want. As we go into this world, a little uncertain about what's next, don't panic. It makes me different. What makes me different from you is that I have enough experience to know we will be okay. a note. It is now the most valuable thing I possess. Mrs. Curtis wrote it with the last of her strength a few days before she died. One sentence says, "There will be great years for you, and so many people and experiences in your life. You will have lots of wacky, creative, and unique adventures, just like we enjoy." I think she proved you can live a good life, even if it is short. My wife was determined to leave us with something valuable. Please, do the same and plan to leave this world with something valuable. And have some wild and wacky adventures along the way. Best of luck with that, class of 2016.
Thank you, Mr. Curtis. Very eloquent, timely, and beautiful. We appreciate your words. At this time, I'd like to invite to the podium the counselor for the class of 2016. If you know anything about Sentinel, you know we have an incredible counseling team. Ms. Kurgan is no exception. She has worked for 4 years to shepherd all of you to where you are today. Please welcome her as she comes to recognize our graduating valedictorians.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so very proud of each and every one of you. It is with distinct honor that I introduce to you the valedictorians and National Merit finalists for the class of 2016. These students have contributed in countless ways to Sentinel High School while setting the bar high for their individual academic standards. They have also been energetic participants in a variety of extracurricular activities. They've excelled in choir, band, DECA, Spartan Ambassadors, student government, Key Club, speech and debate, cross country, football, tennis, and soccer, just to name a few. These students have also given their time and energy to serve their community. As I call your name, will you please stand? Ellen Grace Brooks. Michaela Marie Heast. Madison Ann Lichty. Benjamin Ray Lotto. Madeline Patricia Madsen. Stephen Mitchell Reynolds. Alec Jordan Steele. Matney Rochelle Strofke. Katie Marie Vedito. Julia Souza Von Essen. Julia is also a National Merit finalist. Emily Lane Wade. Bonnie Nicole Wagamont. And last but not least, Madison Ryan Bronkhart, who is the National Merit finalist and graduates with high honors. Congratulations to you all.
All right. At this time, I'm going to introduce the class of 2016 senior speaker. This young man represents all that is good and classy about this group. I had dinner one evening at Kobe, which is a steakhouse here in Missoula, and I'm not sure if he's still employed there, but at the time he was, and we enjoyed a nice meal, and he wasn't working our table, but as we finished our meal, a beautiful dessert appeared in front of us, courtesy of this young man. First class all the way. Please join me in welcoming to the stage this year's senior speaker, Mr. Benjamin Ray Lott.
Hello everyone. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you all for allowing me to give my speech, although I am 100% sure you all will regret it. My name is Benjamin Lott. Some of you may recognize me from my wildly untamed afro, and others may know me as simply another senior you went to high school with. One thing, though, is for certain. My experience as Spartan with all of you has been unforgettable and has prepared me for the next chapter of my life. Fellow graduates, parents, adjudicators, and our stunningly gorgeous principal, Ted Fuller. This part of our lives is both exciting and tremendously frightening. But before I delve into that scary thing known as adulthood, let's travel back through the nerve-wracking, long, sometimes horrible, sometimes amazing, somewhat predictable, and somewhat spontaneous years through Sentinel High. We finally made it freshman year, the last best place. The place all of our siblings told us was way better than middle school. The place where you could actually eat food and chew gum and wear hats in classrooms. And the place where our social lives truly began. We developed relationships, we made friends, and we began to make choices that would impact our lives for forever. We steamrolled through sophomore year. We had our friends, and some of us began to really challenge ourselves. Some of us found our niche within clubs and sports. Others dived into studies. And we all together made fun of freshmen for being freshmen, even though we were freshmen just 3 months before that. But after ending our last underclassmen year, who couldn't help but wonder what was next? Junior year quickly popped up, and things started to get a little real. Suddenly, we were expected to challenge ourselves. AP classes were a reality. Our social lives were rapidly changing. Puberty began to settle in for most of us, although for some it really didn't begin until senior year. And yes, that is including myself. And at long last, we hit the wall of senior year in its unavoidable plague of senioritis. Some more adventurous souls began to look the way they felt most comfortable, like growing an afro. And some teachers felt close enough to tell them that their hair looked like an oversized rat or a tree, like the venerable Mr. Hartman continues to tell me. Some of us know where we want to go, and some of us don't. As wise philosopher and leader of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis once said, "The struggle is real, y'all." Believe it or not, graduates, the struggle is supposed to be real. The scariest future I can imagine myself within is one where I do what others tell me to do, where I don't know my calling, and where I find myself unhappy. The one thing I ask of you, as my fellow Spartans, is this. Do not assimilate into society. Do not do what your parents want you to do, and do not do what doesn't make you happy. If any of you become a computer scientist simply for the money, you will, just like Peter in Office Space, hate your life. If any of you work in a random department of a firm because you just didn't know what to major in, you most likely will hate your soul-sucking, cubicle-sitting life. The mission we all share now as 18-year-olds with those revised pieces of paper is to fulfill your own destiny by finding what you all love, doing just that, ignoring negativity, and exceeding all expectations thereof. Not society's, not your parents, and not your friends, but within whatever you all discover to be your special duty. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I did just say duty. Ralph Waldo Emerson was quoted saying, "Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." Friends, you will never leave a trail if you do not challenge yourself, leave your comfort zone, and look for one. Look for that special thing in life that gives you unending happiness. Even the world-renowned scholar T. Swift says that haters gonna hate, 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 hate. Shake it off. Shake it off. You will face adversity, everyone, but the true test lies in overcoming it and finding what you all love. Thus, my last piece of advice in adolescent wisdom is this. Do what you all want, not what others tell you to want. Find happiness, not good money. Search for an impact, not complacency. Simone Weil said, I can, therefore I am. Spartans, we can, therefore we are. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ben. And now, please join me in welcoming for the presentation of the class of 2016 Missoula County Public Schools Superintendent, Mr. Mark Bain.
Good afternoon, students, parents, family, and friends. It's truly an honor for me to be here this morning. I have to acknowledge both Claire and Ben as former students that I watched from a very young age, and it's really exciting to see them grow into the mature young adults that they are, and I know that they represent the class of 2016 very well, so thank you, and my best wishes to all of you. I do want to take a moment and ask you to reflect on the title of your program, Sentinel High School Commencement. The root word commence, to begin, and really today is about beginnings. We understand that over the course of today and probably the next few days, you'll hear repeatedly that you're taking a step into the real world. Well, I hate to break it to you, but this is the only world there is, and you've been in it for 18 years. Your charge is to take the lessons that have been learned over those last 18 years and begin to apply them in new and different ways. Just as Ben referenced the changes from middle school to high school, you face important transitions now. Some of you will transition to post-secondary education, some to the world of work, some to the military. But as Meg Jay would say, this is your defining decade. The next 10 years will set the stage for you for the remainder of your life. It's important to capitalize on the opportunities that you have. You take with you academic skills, social skills, soft skills for work. But I'd like to leave you with one thought, and it's simply this. You make your own weather. Think about attitudes, think about direction, think about your goals. And I ask you to be certain to make your own weather. With that, by the authority vested in me by the state of Montana and the Montana Office of Public Instruction, I present to you, as well as the Board of Trustees for Missoula County Public Schools, the Sentinel Senior Class for 2016, as having fulfilled all the requirements and responsibilities to be awarded a diploma from Missoula County Public Schools. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the Sentinel High School Class of 2016.
At this time, please welcome, reading the class roll, Assistant Principal of Sentinel High School, Margo Devenant.
Okay. Let's do this. Here we go. Ellen Grace Brooks. Madison Ryan Brockhart. Michaela Marie
Lichty. Benjamin Ray Lotto. Madeline Patricia Madsen. Stephen Mitchell Reynolds. Alec Jordan Steele. Matthew Rochelle Stropke. Katie Marie Vedito. Julia Sousa Von Essen. Emily Lane Wade. Bonnie Nicole Wolgamott. Carissa Ann Osved. Alvin Zane Burl Adams. Alexis Faye Anderson. Ina Sierra Sharice Anderson. Shelby Lynn Bauman. Jade Jim Megan Bear Medicine. Shalise Dooley Beth. Ariana Nicole Biggert. Bridger William Bordeaux. Shelby Taylor Blanchard. Claire Noel Bonsock. Logan Kodiak Bond. Jory Daniel Breen. Carly Brantz. Serena Florence Brown. Olivia Lynn Burgat. Coleman Webb Carden. Nicholas Paul Costali. Justin Chong. Jordan T. Clark. Linnea Elizabeth Connery. Anders James Conga. Jacob Daniel Cook. Brooke Ashley Courtney. Brianna Ray Huvillian. Joseph Connor Cox. Damian James Croft. Trevor Jack Cunningham. Claire Michelle Denisich. Desmond Davis. Austin Lewis Day. Brenna Ann DeMorris. Kyla Jean Dennis. Joshua Michael Paul Deschner. Zoelle Claire Devlin. Isaiah James DeGarmo. Brennan William Drew. Dylan James Duffalo. Danielle Marie Ekstrom. Michael Ray England. Annie Olivia England. Dylan Cooper Evans. Sterling Hunter Ewing. Jocelyn Marie Farrell. Colin William Fisher. Brock Robert Flynn. Quentin Daniel Fogarty. Jerry Tyler Forney. Curtis Emmanuel Forshey. Rylan James Lewis Fortier. Tanner Joseph Foss. Kristen Elise Fraser. Nathan Robert Fuge. Tanner Garrett. Matthew Paul Gobb. David Vincent Gazzo. Sierra Grace Gehring. Pavlina Germanovich. Jess Ellen Gardner. Tristan Douglas Graham. Catherine Elizabeth Brown. Joshua Michael Griffin. Cooper Lee Gay. Alishka Ione Gusky. Christopher N. Harper. Jackson Todd Hart. Anderson Wade Haslam. Morgan Page Powerwas. Kendra J. Hawks. Caleb Aaron Heath. Jacob William Hagel. Nicholas J. Heiser. Amandine Joanna Hess. Charlie James Hill. Chloe Irene Hoskins. Hunter J. Hubbard. James Logan Jackson. Nicholas Anthony Jackson. Richard Reno Jetty. Tyler Stephen Jewett. Colton Ryder Johnson. Richard James Califat. Tyler William Kane. Isaiah Ben Katzenstein. Noah C. Kindred. Hayden Scott King. Colton Ray Kostelecki. Jace Thomas Kovalicki. Isabel Reed Cruzy. Christian Trent Coons. Winnie Law. Connor Spear Labreche. Ashley Rose Lang. Bailey Cole Lathrop. James Gordon Nora Lazert. Kevin Edward Leathers. Anthony R.J. Linneman. Taylor James Lennon. Thomas Allen Lennon.
Yeah, Jessica!
Hannah Macaulay Lentz. Scott Michael LePayne. Alex Mihalovich Levchenko. Jesse Caitlin Clara Leva. Marilee Margaret Lindbergh. Jacob Wade Reinbeck. Angelica Melani Lockhart. Bailey Elizabeth Lombardi. Sophia Elaine Love. Austin D. Lewick. Jessica Ray Lubke. John Marcello. Colin Joseph McCormick. Noah James Marquardt. Alexis Hope Martello. Vasily Belen Martinez. Rachel Leanne Marvin. Connor Thomas McCauley. Sean McCoy. Annika Maria Melzer Rausch. Joshua Michael Meason. Jonathan Zane Mitchell. Mia Anna Moreno. Garrett Nelson Morris. Jaden Lee Mueller. Rachel Ann Alexandra Nexley Hale. Marion Natalia Nielsen. Caden Kirby Nikolajczyk. Eleanor Catherine Nolan. Austin Daniel North. Maya Jacqueline Overman. Isabella Diane Palmer. Alexandra Rebecca Partlow. Chandler Lee Paulson. Dakota Paul Pert. Gabriel David Peppinger. John Patrick Pierce. Michael Dante Pontarelli. Abigail Puente. Brianna Mary Kay Rao. Jake William Reevish. Thomas Harmon Reichenberg. Marianne Grace Ryman Moody. Alani Renee Rippey. Zachary Edward Robinson. Quinlan Griffith Rowe. Trent Brandon Rummel. Caleb Allen Rupinski. Nathaniel Douglas Sager. Tanner Lee Sanders. Nathaniel Douglas Sager. All right. Tanner Lee Sanders. Samuel E. Sandvig. Miranda Rose Ski. Tyler Scott Seifert. Desiree Lynn Seymour. Matthew Leonard Shika Jr. Jordan Marshall Simon. Isaac Thomas Skalski. Braylon Quinn Small. Madison Michael Smart. Dakota Lee Smith. Micah David Tanner Smith. Aiden Thomas Steen. Carlos Sobrianos. Ryan Dean Spence. Micah Joan Spencer. August Lorraine Staff. Bryce Alexander Trasolino. Evgeny Mikhailovich Suber. Julie Jean Lenon Umba. Charles Mitchell Umland. McKenna Spencer Van Soest. Lauren Nicole Vaughn. James Anatolievich Vasco Poinica. Riley Michaela Wall. Elizabeth Sage Walker. Alex Maria Watley. Brandon Keith Weir. Tatiana Charisse White. Elizabeth Brianne Williams. Owen Palmer Winger. Elise Anna Wooler. Kenzie Ray Woods. Carter Floyd Young. Landon James Yowell. Tanner James Zimmerman. All right. Good job.
Yeah, how about a hand for Miss Margot Dunn and Reed Rowe? Well done. Giving us a beat, I don't think. All right. To conclude our ceremony, I'd like to invite to the podium the senior class president, Miss Claire Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller.
I was doing housekeeping. But this podium is leader for it.
My fellow students, we only arrived here 4 short years ago, and now it's already time. Where's the time gone? Time is a funny thing. Some of us have learned to use it wisely, while others still struggle to make use of it at all. Either way, time continues to pass. So how do you measure the time you spend in high school? Freshman year, we measured it by the bell, getting from class to class. Without cars, we measured how far we could walk off campus for lunch and waited for summer. As sophomores, we had thought we had learned to manage our time with 1 year under our belts, but soon learned that procrastination is very real. As juniors, we measured time by when we needed to get to the football games to ensure a spot close to the front. We were timed for the ACT, SAT, and AP tests and watched the clock to count down the days to when we would finally be seniors. Now, here we stand with the senior class of 2016. You can measure the time you spend in class between passing periods and doing homework, but ultimately, you cannot count or put a number on the time you spend creating friendships and making memories. They are these friendships and memories that I will remember the most fondly about my time at Sentinel, as I'm sure you will too. But we cannot forget that we are not the only ones who dedicated a great deal of time these past 4 years. To our teachers, thank you for sharing your time, talent, and knowledge with us. To the administration, thank you for keeping us on time, or at least trying to, and for always maintaining your confidence in us Spartans. And as for our parents, thank you for 18 long years of supporting us in more ways than it's possible to count. As we continue our journey after high school, know that time is on your side. And when you look back to these 4 years at Sentinel, know that it was time well spent. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2006.